So I am here and it is about 9:30. I am trying to make it to the gym before I go to work at 11 tonight. So I'm gonna try to make this as brief as possible. But I'm like, I haven't released a nursing video this week. So if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I don't really say that, but please subscribe to my channel and then hit the little bell so you can get notifications on all of my wonderful videos that I will be posting as I journey through nursing school, and also kind of just vlog about my journey as an LPN. If you have not tuned in, if this is your first time seeing my video, my name is Laniece. That's L-A-N-I-E-C-E, Laniece. And I am an LPN. I've been an LPN for 5 years now. And I am currently in an LPN to RN transition program. So on my page, you can find all things nursing and then a little bit of creative stuff too, because I do a little videography and photography. I'm, you know, not a professional at it, but I love it. I love to be creative. So you'll also see some stuff that I got going on as far as my hobbies that one day will be my profession. But anyways, so I'm like, you know what? Something that I can speak on briefly and that I know a lot about are different jobs that you can have as an LPN. I will say in my last 5 years, my track record with some jobs may not be the best, but I'm the type of person, I get bored easily. I learn very quickly, so I kind of master tasks quicker than some people, which causes me to get bored, because once I master a task, I'm like, I gotta move on to something else. And sometimes if I get bored before I even master it, I still be on to the next thing. So I've had different jobs as an LPN, and I've searched for jobs as an LPN very frequently. Well, a lot, you know, I wouldn't say frequently. I've been in my last job, you know, I like my job now, but it took me a minute to get here. So I just wanted to name a few jobs that LPNs can get that are like good paying jobs or good benefits, jobs with good benefits. So I will kind of just go through my track as a nurse. So when I first got my LPN, my very first job was actually at a plasma center. So as a plasma center nurse, I was not very hands-on with the plasma drawing itself. I didn't have to stick very many people unless I wanted to learn, but we had phlebotomists for that. But I was responsible for health assessments. Every person that came in as a new plasma donor, I had to do a health assessment on them. And I also kind of had to be a psychiatrist at that job, because at plasma centers, most people that donate are very low income, and so you see a lot of drug abusers, you see a lot of people who are homeless. So you kind of also have to be like the psychiatrist in there too. But anyways, I started off as a plasma center nurse. I did that for 2 years, and I really liked working at the plasma center because it was very computer based. Like I said, you don't use any nursing skills at all, other than, you know, palpating the thyroid gland or, you know, simple stuff like that you do during your health assessment. But it was very much computer based. You had to know how to work a computer, and specifically their computer system, which was not easy. But I did enjoy working at the plasma center because I do like working with the low income population. I do like getting out in the community. The plasma center, we did a lot of things in the community to bring people to come and donate or to get our name out there. And I also like with the plasma center that they are everywhere. I used to work at somewhere called CSL Plasma, and there is a CSL Plasma in almost every state. There isn't one in California, and I'm sure there are a few other states where there aren't any CSL plasmas, but this particular company, I mean, they have buildings popping up all over the US. So when I moved to Oklahoma from North Carolina back in 2015, I was actually able to just quickly transfer my job when I got my Oklahoma nursing license, and I had a job right away. So like I said, I stayed there for 2 years because they also had amazing benefits. But then I realized that I want to go back to school. I want to get my RN, and there's no way I can get my RN and not have used any nursing skills. Like when they say if you don't use it, you lose it, that is very true with your nursing knowledge. If you have not worked as like a nurse and been hands-on at the bedside, a lot of the information, especially if you never used it before, you lose it. And I'm like, I can't go back to RN school and not have any skills. And my mom agreed. So what I did was I actually left the plasma center and I ended up going to a nursing home. But if you know me, because I'm saying this to rewind here for a second. If you know me, you know that I am a money maker. I usually hold about 2 jobs. I don't put all my eggs in one basket. I try not to. And at the time that I was working at the plasma center, I was also working at a dialysis center as a dialysis nurse. I enjoyed dialysis. It was really weird because it was almost the same thing. You know, you were sticking people, you were connecting them to a machine, you saw their blood run through the machine at both the plasma center and the dialysis center, but we were just doing 2 different things. Of course, at the plasma center, we were taking the blood out, separating the blood from the plasma and returning your blood back to you. But at the dialysis center, you know, these people have chronic kidney disease and they have no kidney function. So what we're doing is we have this big machine and we're just filtering their blood because their kidneys are not able to filter it. But it was just weird because it was very similar. I did like the dialysis setting. I liked it because the day went by very, very fast. At dialysis, you work 10-hour shifts. You start at about 5:30 in the morning and you're going until about 5:30 at night. In the afternoon, excuse me. And you're on your feet constantly, putting up machines, tearing down machines to get your next patient on. You know, you're constantly walking from patient to patient, you know, getting their vital signs, monitoring your patients. It sounds like it's not busy, but it's very busy. You very rarely sit down while you are working as a dialysis nurse in a outpatient dialysis center. Now, in the hospital setting, a hospital dialysis nurse might only have 1 or 2 patients. I'm not sure. I'm not very familiar with hospital dialysis because you have to be an RN in my state to do it. But from what I've seen during my clinicals, they didn't have very many patients and it was a lot different than the outpatient dialysis center. So I was working at the outpatient dialysis center. Usually in my bay, at a time, we have, I believe, 12 patients, and you're responsible for all 12 during their dialysis cycles. And dialysis cycles for some people can last an hour and a half, and dialysis cycles for some people can last 3 hours. So you're responsible for them while they're in your bay. So while working at the plasma center, I also worked as a dialysis nurse. They were, as far as pay, I'm not gonna get too far. Well, I'll tell you. Okay, so as far as pay, the dialysis center started me off. I was a brand new nurse in 2014, an LPN. The plasma center started me off at $17.50. And the plasma center started me off at $18.50 and the dialysis center started me up at $17.50. But I knew that on a resume, being a dialysis nurse looked a lot better than the plasma nurse because plasma right now is very misunderstood. It doesn't have a very good stigma behind it and people just don't understand much about plasma. So, okay, those are 2 jobs that most people don't even realize that as an LPN you can work. So after you know, leaving plasma, I did a little bit of home health and I also did a little bit of nursing home. Well, a lot of nursing home. This is when I made my transition into the nursing home rehabilitation setting. So home health. I enjoyed home health too because you get to kind of relax. You're in someone's home setting, so you get to see the real them, their families. You get to meet the real them. Some families are very welcoming. You know, they ask you to take trips with them. They ask you to come in on your days off because they turn into your family. But then the negative side of home health was some people's houses aren't clean. So when your agency tells you do not bring your, sorry y'all, I don't know what happened to the lighting. Okay, I think my lighting is fixed now. I'm still using the lights in the house, sorry y'all. So the back might look a little washed, but in due time. But anyways, back to home health nursing. One of the negative sides of home health nursing was everybody's home is not clean. Everybody doesn't live in this big grand house with a rich family. Sometimes you're going to have to go and take care of people who are in low income areas, and sometimes people don't keep their house clean. Sometimes you might bring something home that you didn't take with you out the door, and nobody wants to work in that type of environment. At least I know that I don't. So I did a little bit of home health. I enjoy home health, but another negative side to the home health, which really got me out of home health, was it's feast or famine. A lot of people enjoy home health nursing. A lot of people who do home health, once they get with a family, they connect with that family, they stay with that family. They get their set schedule, and it's a lot of seniority. So you can either be bounced from house to house if you're a new nurse until you find your right family, or you know, you might barely ever get any jobs because families don't become open. And then another thing with them is when you're patient, because when I finally found a wonderful family. I really found a wonderful family. It was a pediatric client. He had a trach. He was a very sweet, cuddly 2-year-old little boy. But then he went into the hospital, and when he went into the hospital, I was without that particular job, which means I either had to find another family where there was an opening, get in where they didn't have any nurses already giving care around the clock, or I had to go and work one of my other jobs, or I just had to be without work. And for a short period of time, I was just without work because I didn't really want to work at the time, but you know, I didn't have a client is what I'm trying to say. And if you're really needing your money and you're counting your clocking your hours and you're getting used to making a certain amount of money because you're working with this client so many hours a week, and that's just completely wiped away from you for you don't know how long, that sucks. Okay, like that's not a good feeling. I'm gonna tell you that. It's not a good feeling. Just know that. So you know, that's what got me out of home health. When I lost my great client, he went into the hospital and he went in for months I was without that client. So you know, after that, after the home health issue, I kind of held another 2 jobs, which was, because at this time I've done a lot of moving in the last 2015, last 4 years. I moved to Oklahoma from North Carolina. I got my license in North Carolina. I moved to Oklahoma, then I moved back to North Carolina. So you know, I have kind of had to find my place. So after that, I also did some hospice nursing. So I liked hospice nursing too. I did hospice nursing. The level of responsibility was a lot different. I don't want to say you had less responsibility because you still had living, breathing patients. You know, I worked at the hospice house. So that's like basically, it's kind of like a nursing home or a hospital setting, but it's for people who are receiving hospice care. And if you know what hospice care is, it's basically care for people who already know that they're dying. They already have 6 months, or they've already been told that they have 6 months or less to live. And once they make it to the hospice house, you know, they can come for like terrible pain, to where they'll come and they'll stay at the hospice house for few days, few weeks, so we can learn how to control their pain, or they know that they're basically transitioning, they're going through the death process. And you know, that for some people is a bit much, but working in hospice, the patients and the patient's family were way more grateful. They very rarely complained. They were very, because at that time when you're about to lose a loved one, you know, the last thing you're worried about is, oh, we forgot to bring you a cup of pudding, you know, or, you know, the patient's not nagging you for a bunch of food because they're not even eating anyway. So it was a very different experience, you know. But when you do build a bond with people, and then, you know, even when you know they're about to go, they're about to leave, it's still hard because you still grow an attachment to people. Hospice, what else can I say positive about hospice? Hospice had great benefits. The one that I worked at had great benefits. The pay was terrible. That is why I just could not do hospice nursing for forever, because I would have to work a second job. The pay was terrible. The shifts were 3 12-hour shifts, 7A to 7P or 7P to 7A, but the pay was horrible. Like, the great benefit, and then on top of that, the benefits were good, but you still had to pay for them. So imagine having to claim you and a dependent, paying for that insurance, and you barely getting paid anything anyway. So it was just like, no. So in the process of, you know, working at hospice, somebody actually turned me on to working for the nursing agency. That was about 2 years ago. And once I started working for the nursing agency, I just saw my money grow. Like, let me tell you, I saw my money grow. Like, I went from making $19, $20 an hour to making $30 an hour as an LPN. And okay, so let me just tell you a little bit about agency nursing and travel nursing, because agency nursing, and you can kind of agency nurse or travel nurse as an LPN and make good money. And I did it all. I had about 2 or 3 jobs at one time, and I was making bank. So as far as agency nursing, you can sign up for an agency who has, as an LPN, more than likely, if you're signing up as an agency nurse, they only have nursing home and rehabilitation centers. And I will say that the nursing home and rehabilitation centers that they have, if they're using agency, that means they're very short staffed. And if they're very short staffed, it's more than likely because nobody wants to work there. So you're gonna make the money, but you're definitely going to work hard and have to earn the money. It's not easy money, unless you might get an 11 to 7 shift, which for some reason with agency nursing, it hasn't been that common. A lot of these nursing homes have a hard time filling second shift, which is for some facilities 2 to 10 p.m. or 3 to 10 p.m. And nobody wants to work second shift, especially if you have a child like I do. And that's just a hard shift. That's a very hard shift, because you basically have the same medication pass as the morning shift. And morning shift is hard too. They're both very hard. First and second shift were equally hard to me. You have to work equally as hard, but morning shift, you're getting them up, you're giving them baths. Night shift, you're putting them down, you're giving them baths. On top of still giving them that heavy medication pass. In the morning, you're giving them breakfast, and on day shift, you give them lunch. At night, you just give them dinner and snacks. But it's still, you're still gonna have to earn your money. But let me tell you, you can get that overtime. If you are somebody that likes to really hustle and likes to see fat checks, you can get that overtime with the agency making good money. Okay? So outside of agency work, agency is basically just PRN work. You get to make your own schedule. You know, you kind of get to toggle between facilities. You don't have to always go to the same facility. Some people like to do that because you get to, you know, learn the patients, you get a routine. And because once you go to the same facility often, they normally put you on the same medication cart. Just because you're doing them a favor. It's like I scratch my back, you'll scratch yours. You're not really an employee here, but we're gonna treat you like one because you've been here for forever. You're just getting paid more than everybody else. So with agency, another thing that I like was, if I show up at your door without you canceling me, and then you tell me you don't need me, I'm still gonna get paid at least 4 hours. So, which means I'm still gonna get paid at least half a shift. For half a shift, just because I showed up at the door. So that's another thing that I liked about working for the agency. Another thing that I like about working for the agency, as I stated before, was you really get to make your own schedule. I'm the type of person, some days I feel like working and some days I don't. When I feel like working, best believe I'm gonna work. Here goes Liddy, ain't gonna lighten again. Best believe I'm going to work. I'm gonna give you 60, 70 hours of work a week. I'm gonna clock that overtime. When I come to work, I'm gonna work and I'm gonna make my money. But then I have times where, like right now, I'm in nursing school, so I can't work like that. And some days I might want to study more than the other. Or if I wasn't in nursing school, it'd just be times where I just didn't feel like going to work. I'm like, shoot, I don't need the money. I don't want to be on nobody's schedule this week. So, you know, with the agency, you're able to do that. Now, one of the negative things about working for the agency is that you do get canceled if you are the last person that they want to use to work that shift. So you can sign up on Monday. You can sign up for a shift on Monday to work Wednesday, and on Tuesday they're calling you saying that one of the nurses that work at that nursing home wanted the overtime, and so they're gonna give the nurse, they're gonna let the nurse that is an employee of the facility work there. And you know, sometimes you might be at a place where you're counting your hours. So if you sign up for 60 hours that week, you sign up for 50 hours that week, you're really expecting those hours. But with the agency, they have good weeks and bad weeks. You can work 60 of those hours and they'll call you and ask you to work 8 more, or you can sign up for 60 hours and only work 8 because they canceled you for every single shift. They didn't need you. The nurses realized that, hey, it's the holiday season, I'm gonna work, you know? So that's one thing that I didn't like about the agency, or I don't like about the agency. But in the process of working for the agency, I did find a nursing home that I liked. And that is where I am now. I am currently a full-time employee at a nursing home rehabilitation center. And it was one of those places that, like I said, we still are very short-staffed. We still, you know, have a lot of issues in the building. However, it is my home. I'm very grateful for the job. I'm very grateful for signing up and working for the agency for a few months and finding this job. So I guess that's also another perk of the agency. Like, you might find a facility that you like, and if they already see that you're a hard worker, that you, I'm not gonna say I show up on time all the time because I don't want none of my coworkers to see this, but if they see that you're a good worker, which I feel like I am, even if I'm late sometimes, you know, they'll hire you, and they might, you know, try to match your agency pay. And that's what this facility did. They actually matched not matched, they had to decrease it by a few dollars, a dollar or two. But you know, I'm able to sign up for that overtime whenever I want to. I'm able to still kind of make my own schedule, since they're very understanding of the fact that I'm in nursing school. So they allow me to switch my schedule up and don't fault me when I want to call in every now and then. But that was a very big perk of the agency, is I found my current home, my current job that I'm very grateful for. But also, just to kind of let you know about travel nursing as an LPN. So I did that for one contract, one 8-week contract. And as an LPN, it just didn't work for me because I wasn't able to really, I was kind of close to home. I was like 2 hours from home. And so I was like, man, you know, I still wanted to try to stay at home and just work 2 hours away. And it doesn't sound smart now, you know, hindsight 2020, but you know, it just didn't work for me, and my child, and the way that the other things that I do outside of work. But the pay was amazing. That was the place that I got paid the most. As a travel nurse, as an LPN, they did allow me to get paid hourly because I didn't need the stipend or any of that, because I was so close to home. I'm like, no, just pay me by the hour and allow me to get extra high overtime. So they were paying me $36 an hour. Overtime, I think they went on and just gave me $56 an hour. It was something weird, but I was getting paid more than I should have. And you know, I was going to a facility that's similar to the one that I'm working at now, and getting really paid for it. But if you do, as an LPN, if you do have the ability to travel, to go, you know, you can go to a lot of different states. I haven't seen very many LPNs travel to like Cali or the places that these RN that really want RNs. But you can go quite a few places, and you can make quite a bit of money as an LPN traveling, you know. So don't let anyone make you feel like, oh, you're an LPN, you're the lowest paid. That stands for lowest paid nurse. Because I had a patient tell me that one time, are you an LPN or an RN? Granted, I am working on my RN because I want to further my career, but I'm very proud to be an LPN. But I had a patient approach me like, oh, you're an LPN? Oh, that stands for lowest paid nurse. Okay, but it don't stand for CNA, or it don't stand for patient care tech, or it don't stand for secretary. Like, I'm in the loop. I'm still getting paid. Just know, like, just know that I'm getting to it. Okay. as an LPN with your disrespectful ass. But anyway, so I'm just saying that because sometimes as an LPN in my career, I have, you know, some people are very belittling. You know, they always ask you, do you plan on furthering your education? You know, it's none of your damn business. Like, if I wasn't, you kind of made me feel bad. Like, I feel like I just need to say yeah, you know? So, like, as an LPN, don't let anybody make you feel like it ain't no money in it, because it is. Don't let nobody make you feel like, don't let anyone make you feel like, you know, there's no money in it. Don't let them make you feel like they're gonna be phasing LPNs out, because the way these baby boomers are living till they're like 80 and 90 years old and getting put in nursing homes, there's always going to be a nursing home. There's always going to be a job for an LPN, a CNA, a secretary. Who else do we have in there? We got a lot of therapists in there. Basically, what I'm saying is it's always gonna be a nursing home in this world. And I'm telling you, if they're gonna phase out LPNs or LVNs, in some states they're called LV as in Victor, or vocational is what it stands for. LVNs, it's not gonna be today. And trust me, they're gonna give you enough time. They might even pay for you to go back to school, because they're not gonna wanna lose you. So don't let anyone discredit your LPN certificate. Don't let anyone make you feel like there's not any money in working as an LPN, because no, I'm not a millionaire, and no, I didn't bust my behind until and work double 7 days a week for months straight to make 6 figures. But I didn't make far from 6 figures, and for a 31-year-old woman with 1 child, I am doing just fine. Okay, as an LPN. Does it take time to get up the ranks and make some of that pay? No. Go get with the agency or get with a job that's gonna pay you. But being an LPN is very satisfying, and just don't let anyone make you feel like there's no money in it, okay? Because you can make good. You can take care of your family as an LPN. Off of my little soapbox, off my little rants, I hope that anyone out there that wants to become an LPN, who's just becoming an LPN, or who is already an LPN and can just relate, I hope this video was beneficial for you. If you have any questions or comments, please comment down below. And like I said before, my name is Lanice. You can find on my page all things nursing and creative, and just, I guess that's all I really got to say. I'm out.